Okay, so I'm assuming that everybody has Googled at some point in their internet life, so are familiar with the Google search engine. If you have a Google account, maybe you have Gmail or maybe you already have a Google Plus account, but you're just not how to use it, then you can go ahead and click this button and sign in. If you don't have an account, when you get here, there's another button that will say sign up at the top right. So if you haven't already got a Google account, whether it be Gmail or YouTube or something Google related, you can go ahead and sign up. So it will ask you for a few details like your name and your email address and so on, and a username and a password, the usual sign up stuff. So walk through those steps. I've tried to do it with a sudo sign up and make a second account, but Google isn't being fooled. It knows it's me, so I cannot do that. So go ahead and sign up if you haven't already done so. I'm going to sign in, and I'll see you on the inside of Google Plus in just a moment. So once I sign in, you can see that it now has my name here and my little profile picture and a little arrow. Okay, so I can go to my profile this way, or also up at the top left, you'll see now on the Google menu bar, it has my name and a plus. So that is my Google Plus profile page. So if I go ahead and click on that, it will take me right to my profile or right to my home page. Okay, so we are now inside Google Plus. Now you'll see lots of stuff in here because I have a fair number of people in my circles and I'm fairly active, so you'll see a lot of stuff. You may not have as much when you first sign in because you don't have either as many followers or as many people that you're following. Okay, so we're going to walk you through the steps of what to do once you get here. Okay, down the left-hand side is your profile or your menu bar, and the first thing that we're going to do is fill out your profile. Okay, so whatever they prompt you to fill out when you first signed up is going to be some basic information. Your profile is going to give a little more space for you to tell about yourself and who you are, maybe links to your website and so on. So if you go to profile in the left-hand side right there, okay, so it's home page and then profile, it will take you here. And the first thing you see is a list of all your posts. Now you're not going to have any if you just signed up. These are some from my stream of things that I've commented on, pictures that I've posted, things that I've shared, and so on. And I'll tell you about those things. The next one over is my About page. So just like on Facebook, you have an info or an About page, you do on Google Plus as well. Okay, now all of these are editable if you go up to the top and you click Edit Profile, this little blue button up here. And then as you mouse over each one, it turns blue and you can go ahead and tag it. Okay, so let's say I would like to change that. Okay, I can add some text to that or I can change it and then I can decide who sees it. Okay, so this is like your security or your privacy settings. Just like on other social media networks like Facebook, you can decide who gets to see your content. Okay, so anything in your profile you can make public, which means everybody can see it. Okay, your circles are going to be anybody that you've added into, let's call it sort of your circle of trust, if we will. So people that you've decided to watch, you can show them your information. Your extended circles are friends of those people. So it's like that 2 degrees of separation. Okay. You can also lock it so that nobody sees it, just you, or you can make it custom and choose certain people only. Okay. I choose to work and have my business on Google Plus, so I make my information public. Okay. So you can go ahead and fill out each section. Do it as thoroughly as possible because then people will get a better idea who you are if they actually come to your profile. So a tagline could just be something funny. It could be something related to your business. Okay. Your introduction. Okay. Make sure that you put something important in here. Fill that in nicely. Okay. That's who you are. Your bragging rights. Have you won any awards? Who are you? Okay. Your employment. Now this is actually a tricky one here. So if you fill this one in fully, it's going to be used elsewhere, and I'll show you where that comes up later. I learned that little trick from a Chris Brogan Google Plus book. Okay, you can fill in as much of the information as you want, or as little as you want. Under birthday, when you click on birthday, it will give you a choice of showing your year of birth or not. Okay, I choose not to show mine, so people can still see your birthday and wish you a happy birthday, your friends and your network, but you can't see the year of birth, and that just gives you a little bit more personal security in terms of identity theft and so on. Okay. theft on the internet and security on the internet is rather important. So you can fill in your other profiles. Here I have my Flickr, my Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, any other social media sites that you're on or anything else you'd like to link to. Okay. Links to just be links to other websites. So your favorite, something you want to recommend to people, or your own website if you have one. Okay. Once you're finished editing the text, you can choose finish editing, and you can also go in here and add your profile photo and your cover photos. Okay, so your profile photo, you want to pick something for this one that is going to be a closer face shot because it's going to show a tiny little thumbnail of that image next to all your posts, and it is tiny. Okay, it's like 30 by 30 pixels, so it's pretty small. Just like these ones over here you can see on the right, this is the chat window, but you see how tiny those are. So you want to be able to sort of see at a glance, oh yes, I recognize that person, I know that's Darlene. Okay, so make sure that you put a decent, nice close-up photo in there. The other ones, you can add 5 photos or you can upgrade to cover photo. Cover photo I have not upgraded to yet because what it does is it changes that to one image across there. So then you have to go in and custom design something to fit a long elongated shape like that. So if you want to make a composite of a couple of different ones like this, you have to go and create that. Okay? Otherwise, you can drop in a couple of different photos that you would like to share with people there. So it could be of you or it could be ones that you've taken. Okay, so that is the profile in a nutshell. And from there, we can start exploring Google+, okay, which is the next section down on the left-hand menu bar, which is Explore. Okay, now this is really the power of Google+. So here, it's what's hot and what's recommended. It shows you what's trending on Google. So right over here, it's what's trending. So it could be anything that's popular today. So apparently Stephen King is hot, Thursday, Thirsty Thursday, whatever all that other stuff means, I have no idea. Okay. Down here you can see what's hot, and these are just things that are currently getting a lot of traffic and getting a lot of comments. They may be completely unrelated to anything that you're interested in, though. That's the only problem with that. Okay. The other way to look for things is to search for them. So as I mentioned earlier, Google Plus is a great way to find things that you're passionate about. So we're here on a photography blog, so assuming that you're all interested in photography. So you can search for just photography. Now you'll notice that a bunch of things popped up. Those are all things that I already have in my circles. So the first thing it does is it searches my circles. Okay, if I didn't have those things in my circles, I would just search for photography in general, and it's going to come up with a bunch of things. Okay, so it's going to come up with either the best of or the most recent, and you'll see it change quite often. Okay, you'll see a lot of this change. If you wanted to search for a particular kind of photography, you could do that also. You could search for HDR photography. You know, I have a lot of HDR photographers already in my circles, so for me to find one that I haven't already circled might be a little bit tricky, but we'll see how that goes. Okay. So that leads right into hashtags, which you'll see here. This is a perfect example of a hashtag. So if you're on Twitter, you'll be familiar with the use of the hashtag, which is the number sign. So whenever you put the number sign or hashtag in front of a term, it becomes a searchable link. Okay, so if I decide, okay, I really want to search for HDR photography, you can see that this guy has hashtagged HDR photography. If I click on it, it's going to give me a stream of everything that is tagged with that tag. Okay, and by scrolling down, I'm just seeing the most recent posts. Okay, some nice work happening there. All right, so if you find something that you like, you can go and have a closer look at it. Oh, there's me. Okay, so you can scroll down, you can look at the pictures. The neat thing about Google Plus is the interaction that you can have with people. Okay, now I happen to know Sly Vegas, so I could go and comment on his photos, which are very cool. Or I could find somebody that maybe I haven't seen their work before. Okay, so when you put your mouse over somebody's name, their little profile, it's like a little mini profile comes up. Okay, so you notice how it has a little bit of information down underneath there. Okay, that's that piece that I was telling you about. If you put your education part in there, that's what comes up in here, surprisingly enough. Okay, it's a little bit odd, but that's how it works. So we'll go down to mine. Don't know if it'll work on myself. Okay, so it shows all of my information down there. Okay, it's kind of neat. It knows it's me, which is great. So I'm trying to find somebody that I don't have in my circles. Okay, there's somebody that I don't have in my circles. Lots of people I already have in my circles. Okay, perfect. So this fellow I do not have in my circles. So let's say I decide I really like this photo that Pete Watson has done. Okay, so I can click on it and it's going to show it to me bigger. Okay, it's going to show me on the right hand side any comments that have been made on this photo. Okay, if I hit my space bar, the comments go away and I can see the picture larger. Okay. You can do a couple of different things with the photo to interact with people, and this is again the power of Google+. So these are all people that have commented. You can comment on anybody's stuff. Doesn't matter. If they have shared it publicly and you can see it, then you have the ability to comment on it. So I might just comment and say, great image, right? And then when you add your comment, it shows up with your name. They can see all the people who have then commented on their photos, right? The other thing you can do is there's a little +1 button down here. If you're familiar with Facebook, Facebook has a like button. It's very similar to that. So just by hitting the +1, it says to this person, hey, I kind of like that, okay? And you can see that this one has 35 +1s, right? The other thing that you can do is you can click share. And what happens is it's just like share on Facebook. It allows you to share this image on your stream. So like your Facebook status, you can share this photo to the world. Okay. So I might say something about it. And then I'm just going to go down here. Okay, then also like your profile, you can decide who to share it with. Okay, so this one's going to public and extended circles. I'm just going to share it to public, so it's going to show up on my stream in general. Okay, so now it says your photo has been shared. Let's go view the post. Okay, so that's my stream under my profile, and you can see it says Darlene, public, and the neat leaf image that I shared. Okay. If I scroll down to some of my posts, you can see the activity on it. You can see that this kitty cat has 5 comments. You can see that it has 8 +1s and 1 person shared it. Okay, so if I want to see the activity, I can open that up and I can see that these are the people that added the +1 and this is the person that reshared it. Okay. And I can open the comments by opening it that way. If you want to comment on something and you really want to get that person's attention, you want to do what's called a tag. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and find a couple of things here that I'm going to comment on that I might want to tag. Okay, when you're scrolling through, you can use your mouse, right, to pull your scroll down, or your wheel on your mouse. You can also use the J key to scroll down one post, or the K key on your keyboard to scroll up one post. Okay. Now Renee is a friend of mine, so if I want to say, hey Renee, I really like this, but I want to make sure that she sees it, I'm going to add a plus sign, and then I'm going to type in her name, okay, assuming that I can spell it right. Okay, and it's going to find her. I'm just going to type Renee. Now it finds all the Renees that I have in my circles. So I'm going to choose her and add a comment. Okay, so by tagging her, it's going to show up in what's called the notifications. Okay, your notifications are up here by your name. So up in the upper right corner, there's a little number. Okay, so 0, right now I have no notifications, but if I click on it, these are all the little things that show up sort of under my notifications. Okay, so these are all things that I've either commented on or people have tagged me in. Okay, so if you really want to get somebody's attention, that's what you do. Okay. All right, so that's exploring. So you can search for photography, you could search for travel, you could search for wine, golf, whatever it is that you're passionate about, and those topics will come up and allow you to browse and find things that are interesting to you and add them to your circles, which is what we're coming to next. Okay, so we're going to skip over a couple of these things here. We're going to go down to circles. Okay, so if you click on the little circles button down here, you get a screen that looks like this. Now I have a whole bunch of them and I have a whole bunch of people circled. So these are what mine look like, and I've created all of these and I've named them. So when you add somebody to a circle, all you're doing is putting them into a certain category. And what that allows you to do is decide who sees your content or who you share things with. Like I may choose to share photos only with my photographer friends and not with my personal friends and family because they may or may not be interested in something techie, right? I might share something travel related with my travel friends, okay? I might share something art related with my artist friends. Or if I want to look for certain things related to that, I will go to that circle and see what they're saying, okay? So when you are exploring and you find something interesting, okay, now this is just completely random, so I'm just going to pick this person, okay? So if you want to add somebody to your circles, let's go back to search photographers again. Let's do photography in Costa Rica. Let's see if anybody comes up. Okay, so wedding photography in Costa Rica. Okay, so let's say I like Emma's work and I would like to add her to my circles. There's another cool one. Okay, so we like Rob's work. Okay, so we can go and check out his profile by clicking on his name, right? Just like we saw my profile, we see all of his posts. We see his about page, which is his profile, so we can read about him. And we can see photos. So photos are sorted in albums, and we'll upload some in a bit, right? If I decide, yeah, I think this is a pretty cool guy, I would like to follow him, so I can add him to a circle. When you start, you're not going to have any circles. You create the names for them. Okay, so I have ones called people I follow daily, so those might be mentors or people that post newsworthy events, personal friends, other photographers, great photographers, so people that I want to go to for inspiration, people in my city. Okay, so I'm going to put him under photographers because that seems to be a circle that's going to fit for him. Okay, and I do that just by ticking it off. It's that simple. If I want to add him into more than one, I certainly can do that. Okay, now I don't know this person very well, so I'm not going to add him to a second one. Right, you could add him to anything that is applicable. Right, I might add him to travel as well. Right. So that's how you add people to circles. You can also share a circle with other people. And you do that by going back to your circles. So let's say I want to share my photographer circle. Okay, so I just select it. Now I have 585 in this circle, as you can see right there. Okay. I can click on this little thing in the center and it says share circle. So I'm just going to share this circle. Now it only goes up to 500 at a time, so it looks like some have been left off. You'd have to do them twice, okay? Share it in 500. So I'm just going to share this on my stream. With a little message. Okay, so when I share this, again, it's going to show up on my stream, and I'm going to include myself in the circle. Okay, so if anybody that's sort of watching my circle or my stream, they're going to see this share show up, this circle. Okay, so if they're looking for photographers to follow, they might go in here and go, oh, let me see who's in here, and they might choose to add some of the people as well. And if you come across a circle share, you can do the same. You can sort of browse and see whose work you like and add the ones that you like. Okay. Now notice up in my notifications here, now I have a +1 or a 1. So it means that I have a notice. Okay, so it just means that somebody has added a +1 onto something that I have done. Okay, so something has happened after or what I have participated in. Okay. So photos. Photos are rather important for a photographer. Okay, so the tab down the left is where you're going to add them. Okay, I like to go to albums because then I can categorize them. So again, similar to Facebook, I'm using Facebook as a reference because more people are on there than are on Google Plus and have some familiarity with it. So there are similarities between the two. I really like the way Google Plus displays photos. Okay, so for example, this is some photos from a workshop I did in Drumheller. So these are all ones that have been uploaded already. So when I go to the album, you see the nice interface and it displays the photos really nicely. Okay. You also see these little numbers on the photos. So there's 1 + 1 and 4 comments. Okay, so I can see at a glance what's happening on the activity of my photos just by the overlay. Okay, so I can see which ones are popular, which ones people are commenting on. Okay, this one seems to be quite popular. Okay. So if I want to see what's going on, and there's a few comments, and it looks like there's 17 +1s on this one, so it's quite popular. Okay. So to go to create an album, you can just go upload new photos and it will ask you if you want to create a new album, right? Or you can add photos to an existing album, right? So if I wanted to add some photos to this Drumheller one, I can do that within the album itself. So I'm going to add some photos. I just have to find them where they are on my computer. And we get the rainbow spinny wheel of death from the Macintosh, which means it's thinking. So while it's thinking, I have to talk about something else. Okay, there we go. So I have on my computer, I've created just a little thing for adding Google Plus photos. So I've categorized them. So I know sort of which ones I've added and which ones I haven't added. So I can go in here and pick a couple more. Let's see what I have not added yet. I think I've done that one. Let's say we're going to add a couple more. Okay, so I pick a couple that I want to add. Now, if you have a whole series, you can add them all at once to your album, or you can what I call like drip them. Google Plus works really well if you add photos on a regular basis. So if you're adding something every day or every couple of days, you'll get more notice than if you just put 30 up all at once. Okay, so I tend to space my stuff out and just put a couple, kind of like a little teaser. Okay, so you can add a caption to your photo. Okay, this is Sam's Saloon, and it's in a ghost town. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it onto that one. You can also add a hashtag too. So if I wanted to add anything here and tag it, you could do that in the captions. Okay. Now I'm going to do what's called tagging. I want to skip tagging. Tagging is Google tries to recognize faces automatically and pick who it thinks that person is and tag them in the photo. So these are just random people in a bar. I'm not going to tag them, so I'm going to skip it. But if you know somebody in the photo and you are circling them and they are circling you, you can tag them. Okay? Now I'm writing another tagline. So this will go with the post. So when you add photos, it also creates a post on your stream. So I will add them to my album and to my stream, and I'm going to make it public and to extend it. Okay, so I'm going to share it, and it's going to show it and post it up onto my stream. Okay. So 2 parts. Make an album, add the photos, and then once you share it, it goes to your stream. Okay, so now the photos have been added, and they generally show up at the bottom, right? So here they are, okay? Now, that's not the order that they were shot in. If I want to resort them, there's a little more tag up here, and I can choose Organize Album. Okay, so now it makes them sortable. So I can go down to the bottom, and I can highlight these 2. You see they've got a red outline around them. Now when I grab them, they're going to come with me when I scroll up the page. So as I go up, I want to decide, okay, whereabouts did I shoot those? And it was somewhere about in there. So it was after that, but before the nighttime shoot. And I can take a look. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to click Finished Organizing, and now they're in the order that I want them to be in. Okay. If I go back to my profile, it's going to show up there as my post. Okay. Now, another neat thing about Google Plus is it has a number of themes and projects that you can find. I actually have a circle of just that. So photography, projects, and themes. And I have 27 things in the circle. So a couple of them I'll just give you. Okay, so photography project, Crystal Ray's photography scavenger hunt, night photography Friday, virtual photo walks, which is a very cool thing. Catterday, so Catterday is basically you post a photo of a cat on Saturday, okay? Floral Friday, so you post a picture of a flower on Friday. Night Photography Friday, I think you can figure that part out. And Macro Monday, obviously you do something a close-up on Monday, right? So you can find all kinds of things like that. There's Monochrome Monday, there's Women Wednesday, there's Tuesday Decay, right? Life Through the Lens is a show. Billy Wilson is a show. Drink and Click is an event. Right? So there's all kinds of things that you can find in terms of projects and things to participate in, right? And it's just kind of a neat, it gives you something to work towards, right? If you know, oh, I'm going to post a macro on Monday, and I'm going to post Women Wednesday, I need to do a portrait of a girl for Wednesday, and I need to do a close-up of something for Monday, and I need to do a night shot for Friday. It gets you out there photographing, and it gives you something, if you don't know what to shoot, it gives you something to shoot, right? So you can build up sort of a little portfolio of those things. And if you're not sure how to find these projects, just type them in here. Often by putting in the day, like today is Thursday, right? There's several. So leaves on Thursday, caption this, history Thursday, instant Thursday. And if we type in Friday, we can get all kinds of things too. So there's bug Friday, Fido Friday, night photography Friday. Monday gives us macro, monochrome, moody Monday, Mexico Monday, and Lily Monday. Okay, so you can really go crazy with joining all kinds of projects and themes that you can work on. Okay. So Google is always surprising me in terms of whose work I'm finding. It expands the realm of people's work that I've found that I never would have found any other way. It also expanded people that I've met in person in real life. Okay, there's a chat window over here on the right, so I can just chat with anybody that has a green light on, anybody that's online. So I can open up a chat, for example, with Elizabeth, who I chat with often, and just type her a little chat. So it's just like the old days of like an MSN or like a Skype chat, and we can go back and forth on chat. When I was at the Google Plus conference in San Francisco in April, there was a bunch of us doing chat on our phones while we were in the conferences, and we actually set up a lunch. It was my idea. I said, hey, let's all go to the diner, and about 25 of us got together because we chatted on this little chat window. And we got together and we met out front and went to the diner together. And pretty much none of us had ever met before. I have met several people in person, and there she responded. Look at that. She doesn't even know she's being recorded. She's going to be famous later. I'll have to show you her neon cow. I'm going to tell her that she's famous. So, I've met some of the people on Google Plus and interacted with them, and then actually met them in person. Elizabeth I met at the Google Plus conference in San Francisco, and then I also arranged a photo walk in Portland, and she came up from California to Portland, and we did a nighttime photo shoot, and we got about six or eight of us went out and had dinner and went out to do a nighttime photo shoot. And pretty much none of them other than Elizabeth I had ever met before. So it was a way to meet people that I'd not met before and have a really neat time while traveling at the same time. You can also do virtual travel and travel, vicariously by looking at other people's photos. So carrying on, we'll talk to Elizabeth later. We'll just let her know that. And I'm going to do the next part, which is a Hangout. So I'll see you in a few moments, and I'm going to explain Google Hangouts. Okay, so bye-bye, Elizabeth. We'll just say goodbye for now. Oops. So another feature of Google is that it has events. A lot of the stuff in here is so similar to Facebook, and it works a lot the same way. So you can create an event, you can add a photo, you can set the date, you can invite people, you can join events that you've been invited to, and it saves it in your Google Calendar. So here's one that I've been invited to. It's called Candy Cane Lane Photo Walk. So in my city, we have something called Candy Cane Lane. Maybe it's similar elsewhere, where a bunch of people light up their houses every year for Christmas, and a bunch of us are going to get together and go. Looks like we're going to meet at Starbucks and then go and photograph the Christmas lights. Okay, so I can even invite people to this event. I can make a comment, and after we've done the event, there's even a place to add photos, so we can share the photos that we did at this event. Okay, if I go back to the main page here. Earlier this year was the Scott Kelby Photo Walk, which is a worldwide event every year. Right? So I can look at my past events and see that. Okay. Goes way back. Way back, way back. There we go. Okay, so I can see here, this is the walk that we did October 13th. So each walk had its own event. I had an event for my participants, and these are some of the photos that were added to the event. Okay, so well, there's me shooting upside down with my tripod sticking out. Okay, so these are some of the photos that we took as a group, and we had a nice evening. So it's a great way to share, meet new people, and share photos and have a photo meetup. Okay, you can even create your own in your own city. I've also created something. I've joined something called Drink and Click, which is an event started in the States, and it's just something where it's a social event for photographers to get together and have a drink. Could be a glass of wine, could be a coffee, and then go out and photograph, and then go have another drink. Okay, so your beverage of choice can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, whatever is your preference. Okay? So events are a neat part of Google Plus. And you can see that every now and then my notifications changes, and I have some more notifications of somebody commenting on something. Okay, and I can go there at any time and see who's doing what. Okay, so we're continuing on. We're going to learn about how to start a Google Hangout. Google Hangouts are a neat feature of Google Plus where you can interact with other people who are in your circles. And you start one by going down the left-hand side and finding that Hangout tab. And once you're there, you'll see a little red button that says Start a Hangout. If you just click it, it'll open a new window. I like to do Command click on the Mac, or I'm not sure what the equivalent is on a PC, Control or Command, and then it will just open a new tab. So whatever you normally click to open a new tab, and there it is. So what it does, the first time you do this, it will actually ask you to install the plugin or the app for your browser. I'm using Google Chrome because I find that it gives me, it crashes less often. I usually use Safari for everything else, but I find for the Hangouts I had some crashing problems, so I usually use Google Chrome. Hopefully, I mean, it's made for Google, so it should work, right? So I'm just going to do a demonstration Hangout with my husband, Rob Cooper. So we're going to name the Hangout. You can call it whatever you like. You can call it, you know, let's shoot the breeze about cats or whatever it is that you want to talk about today. And up here you saw where it says add people. You can choose a circle. So you can invite an entire circle of people to join you. Now you can only have 10 people in a Hangout at one time. So if you invite 20, for example, only the first other 9 besides you are going to get into the Hangout. So the 11th person might come along and it'll say this Hangout is full. So if somebody leaves, they will be able to get a spot in. And that's pretty common if you're in a popular group. People will pop in and out, and the Hangout will change. So you'll see on somebody's stream, for example, Billy does a lot of Hangouts, Billy Wilson. You'll see on his stream quite often that Billy Wilson hung out with however many people, and you'll see like 40 or 50, and that's how you get the 40 or 50, because it's not all at once. It's one person comes in and the other one goes out, and then they exchange. So it's not all at once, it's just over the duration of the talk. I've heard of people having Hangouts that have gone on several hours. I don't usually stay on that long, but it has been done. Okay? And the person who originally started it has long since left the Hangout and it's still continuing. Okay, you also have the option here. There's a little tick button, if you can see that right there, where it says Enable Hangouts on Air. If you check that off, what will happen is this Hangout will be recorded live to YouTube. Okay, so that's handy if you're trying to do a demonstration of something or you want to save something for later. It will record live and it will be public. It'll also go on your Google Plus stream, but you can go into your YouTube account later and make it private if you wish. And I've done that on a few occasions, including when I do private tutoring with students. So that's a neat feature that you can use to have like a one-on-one video call or a multi-video call and record it for later. So I'm going to go ahead and click Hangout, and then we're going to join the Hangout, and hopefully Rob will join us shortly. So the window opens, and it says that you've invited people to the Hangout. So once they join, you'll hear a little tone, and their picture will pop up at the bottom. Okay, so whoever is talking in the Hangout shows up in the top picture. So right now there's nobody here except me, so there I am. Hello. I don't like looking at my face that large, so we're going to wait till Rob joins us. Hopefully he will join us soon. I'll show you a couple of the other features. So in the chat, on the side here, there's also a little menu bar, right? And one of them is chat. Okay, so in the group chat, if there's 9 or 10 people or however many in the Hangout, let's say you're talking about something and you want to recommend something someone, or you want, oh, I saw this great website the other day and I'd like to share that with them. You can do so by clicking the chat window. And there's Rob joining us.
Hello.
Hello, Rob.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are things in the basement?
Good. How are things upstairs?
They're pretty good.
Good.
So I'm just demonstrating for the folks here. I was going to show them a chat. So let's say I wanted to send you a link to something. I could just go and grab my link from my other tab and copy and paste it into the little chat window down in the bottom here. Oops. In the little chat window down in the bottom, and then when I hit enter, it's going to show up on Rob's screen, so then he can go and visit the link that I shared with him.
Should I click your link?
Sure, if you like. It's just a link to some recommended things that I use. But it could be a cool website you found or whatever it is that you're chatting about in the moment. Okay? So when you're in a Google Hangout, it's like a Skype call. You can see each other, you can hear each other, assuming that you have microphone, camera, and speakers. Right? If you don't have all those things, it makes it a little tougher, or we'll just see a picture of you. Right? The other thing that you can do in a Hangout is share your screen. So I could share something with Rob that is on my computer or whoever's in my Hangout. So down on the left-hand side here, you'll see screen share. Okay? So if I click that, okay, I can share my desktop or just the Hangout screen. Okay? So I'm going to choose to show Lightroom. Okay? And what it's going to do is it's going to pop over to Lightroom. Because let's say I would like to share these images with Rob, and I don't have them online yet, but I'm able to scroll through these and show you what I'm working on or a particular image that I want to share with somebody in the Hangout. Okay? And that's pretty common.
Those are beautiful.
Thank you very much. And that's pretty common in a Hangout. A lot of people do that where they'll share pictures that way. We'll be chatting along, and then they'll say, oh, I did a great photo shoot the other day, and we want to see it, so they will share their screen with us and show us. Okay? Another little feature, you may have to install this app, is called Lower Third. Again, that's over on the left-hand menu bar, so if you click it, it will open up. If you haven't installed it, it'll ask you to install it. Okay. Over in here, you can type in your name and your business or your website, whatever you like. You can choose a color. And then when you turn it on, what happens is it appears below your picture with your name and whatever it is you've typed, exactly as Rob is indicating. Thank you very much, Vanna. Okay. You'll notice that on mine, it shows inverted. It's backwards, and it gives you a little message when you first start it that you'll see your own backwards, but it's correct for everybody else. I'm assuming you see mine correctly, Rob?
Yes, ma'am. Darlene. My love. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Okay. You can also do goofy stuff. There's a thing called Google Effects over here. Oh, don't know why my third's turned off, but Google Effects over here. So you can do things like sound effects, right? Scare the cat with a doorbell. You can put on goofy hats, right? Maybe I want to be a cat for the day. I can wear a cat hat, right? Cat in the hat, right? I still think Rob should wear the clown face, but he's not willing to participate. So, right? So you can do
my own clown face.
You can do goofy stuff like that. Right? So that's in a nutshell how Google Hangouts work, and it continues to go on until you choose not to anymore. So we're going to continue on with the rest of Google.
I just want to say, when I start talking, does it not trade focus to the person chatting in the window?
It does, yeah. Is it only showing my picture? You'll never see yourself, though.
Right. Okay.
Right. If there was six people if there were 6 people in the chat, it would change. You'd see the top window change to whoever's speaking, but you don't show up there yourself. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So that's a good question. And if you want one particular person to show, like let's say somebody is sharing their screen and you really want to see what they're showing, but somebody else is talking, whoever's talking will actually show up. Google picks up the voice and it takes their video feed. So you can actually go and click on their thumbnail down in the bottom and you'll see a little blue outline show up around it. Well, at least it's blue on my screen, right? And that means it will stay locked on that person and it won't move to the other people.
Fascinating.
All right. So we're going to say goodbye to Rob. Bye, Rob.
Bye, Darlene.
And we'll continue on with our Google Plus tour. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome. See you soon.
Bye-bye. So that's about it for my walkthrough of Google Plus and how to use it. The biggest piece of advice that I could give you that I've gotten out of it is you get out what you put in, which is like anything in life, right? So if you are willing to put in some time and comment on other people's photos and interact with them, they will be willing to do the same with you. So you can do, again, to recap, you can comment on other people's photos, you can ask them questions, you can share it, and you can +1 their content, right? Also being engaging on your own profile, sharing your own photos, sharing something interesting, and having it relate to something that other people might want to read. You know, don't share what you had for breakfast this morning unless, of course, you're a food photographer and you did a wonderfully lovely photograph of your waffles. You know, perfectly lit and composed, of course. Then in that case, by all means, share the photo of your waffles and maybe a little technique on how you did it. People love to talk about how they did things on Google, and most people are very willing to share and answer your questions. So don't be afraid to interact with people, comment on their stuff, jump into a Hangout, and chat with people. Create your own Hangout and just get out there and interact with people, and they will interact back with you. That's how I've managed to increase my followers on Google Plus. Now, by any means, I don't have a huge number. I have 2,600 people that currently follow me, 2,625. So that means that anytime I post something, they see my content. Okay? On the other side of the coin is I follow 3,700 people. Right? Mostly photographers and photography related projects and themes and so on, right? On the high end of Google Plus, you'll find people like Trey Radcliffe, and he's in my circles. He's in 11 circles, as you can see there, because he fits into a number of different categories that I've created, and he puts out high interest content. He does Hangouts. He does once a week. He does a variety show on Monday that goes live. So he's got some really interesting content. But as you can see, if you go to his profile, he has just over 4 million people circling him. Okay, so he has a lot of followers. Right? So I don't profess to be in that type of league, but by interacting with people, that's how you will gain people following you. If you're helpful, if you're engaging, if you're entertaining, they will follow you back. Okay? Don't say things that are insulting or hurtful or rude, because that will get you unfollowed real fast. Okay? So pretty standard rules of engagement on social media, and that's about it for Google Plus. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you happen to stumble across it, I invite you to come and visit my website, which is herviewphotography.com. There's the website right there. I'll put a link to it in the text below the video. And if you're watching this on my website, I will hope that you would subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, that's great. I value your membership. If you are not, you can go ahead and fill out your name and email right here on the right hand side by this big red arrow. And by filling out your name and email, you'll get updates of blog posts and articles, reviews, anything that I'm posting to the site. And also I give you my free ebook 10 photography challenge to help you take better pictures without buying new stuff. So they're designed to give you some exercises to think outside the box and get out there doing some photography. So have fun, and we'll see you on Google+. Take care.